Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville Planning Commission for July 21st, 2021. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a short moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Sharon, roll call, please.
Mr. Stevenson, Mr. Pacusa,
Here.
Mr. Conway, Ms. Krypta,
Here.
Ms. Montgomery,
Here.
Mr. Gearhart, Mr. Walker,
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here. Okay, we have the minutes from the June 16th, 2021 meeting. If we have anybody that would like to make a motion to approve those? So moved by Mr. Walker. All in favor? Aye. Any-
I didn't hear who seconded.
I'm sorry, yeah, no. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Now, all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Sharon. Item A, old business, we have an application 21-2-C, Dreamers and Achievers Early Education Academy. We had tabled this last month to wait for additional information by the applicant. So at this time, if anybody would like to make a motion to untable that, we can hear what they have before us tonight.
Motion.
Okay, motion and second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so untabled and applicant's here. Did you sign in? And
I did.
all right.
Good evening, everyone.
State your name, please.
Lavette Smith. So the information that was requested of me from the June 16th meeting was to provide the lease agreement with Wide Waters, which grants approval for the use of the property for an outdoor play area, provide a site plan illustrating the location of the outdoor play area and the types of equipment, provide a circulation diagram for student drop-off, parking, and how pedestrians will be able to safely traverse from their vehicle to the facility. And that information was handed in last week, and everyone, I would believe, has copies of that. So there is a diagram in there that shows the actual location and the feet that it takes to move from the property.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Can you put that on the center of the counter, there's a little X?
Yes.
You can put the whole binder there if you like, and there's a camera in the ceiling that can zoom in on it.
Okay.
And then you can point to that and watch on the monitor. Give them a second to zoom in.
Okay. Okay, so this space shows from the premise, it takes 100 feet to walk the sidewalk to the end of that area, another 34 feet to cross that parking area, up the steps and over to the building that's beside the play area, and then another 60 feet that we would walk along another sidewalk to get to the play area. So the majority of this is all on sidewalk. There's just 34 feet where it's crossing the parking lot, and the rest of the space. Oh.
If you want to use that one, it might help
Wonderful.
to show it a little bit better.
Okay.
We'll just move it up there.
Very good, thank you. So the premise would be from this particular location, walking along this sidewalk. This ends the sidewalk. Here is the crossway. And right here, this area is some steps that you go up the steps and you cross the parking lot to get to this sidewalk. And this area right here is the play area. That is, of course, in conjunction with supervision with the children. Here's another picture to give you maybe a better idea of the play area. This is the auto parts sidewalk, and then here's the play area right beside the building. Now that is if we went out the front. There's also, on this diagram, the idea if we go out the back of the premises, there's 108 feet, and then another 35 feet to the play area. And then showing this on the photo. This would be the back of the premises.
He's got another one there.
Oh, you are great. Okay, wonderful. This is better. So this is the back of the premises. If we walked along and then cross into this grass area right here, we can get to it from the back area. And this is the play area right here.
Is there sidewalk on the side of the plaza building there?
This side,
No, the other plaza.
the sidewalk stops at the front. It
Okay.
goes down just a little bit because then it's parking.
Okay, but it doesn't go front to back then?
No, it does not.
Then do you know how many, like, loading docks or truck areas there are from the corner of the building to where you would exit the rear of your space?
I didn't count the number of loading docks, but there were 4 facilities before
Okay.
mine. But what I did do was spend some time getting information about some of the traffic patterns, because that seemed to be a concern, about it being a busy area for that parking lot. And the traffic patterns for a 3-day period, and I based it on the time of 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. We stopped taking kids in at 10, but I just added an extra hour on. So 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., there were 25 cars, SUVs, 3 trucks, 1 semi-truck, and 6 buses. 11 to 3, that would be the time that if we go out, we would go out at around 1 o'clock or so, after lunch, before nap time. There were 58 cars, 6 trucks, 0 semi-trucks, and 3 buses. And from 3:30 to 5:30, dismissal is at 5:30. I mean, that's when we close, so usually between 3 and 5:30. There were 37 cars, SUVs, 1 truck, 1 semi-truck, and 6 buses. At the bottom, it notes that there were 21 cars that were noted dropping people off at the sidewalk without causing any traffic slowdowns or other traffic-related issues. That was something that was brought up as a possible problem if parents decided to drop off. And then children were seen safely crossing the parking lot and accompanied by adults to go to other stores in the shopping center. The next day, from 8 to 11, there were 16 cars, 3 trucks, 1 semi-truck, 6 buses. 11 to 3, 28 cars, 1 truck, 3 semis, 3 buses. And 3:30 to 5:30, 56 cars, 4 trucks, 5 semi-trucks, and 6 buses. And there was a third day also. It was pretty much in line with this. The parking lot can accommodate 300 cars for parking, and there was at no time during those days that, we watched the traffic, that it was very packed to the point that it was a safety issue for children in the parking lot moving over to the sidewalk. I also did provide information that the landlord, let's see if I can get to it. licensing agreement, which is Exhibit 1 for neighboring vacant land, and it's the agreement that the landlord provided that will allow me to use the land. In addition to that, this was what was in the original lease, but in addition, just to make sure, because this was brought up, that if the land was sold, what would occur? The landlord is in agreement that he will incorporate the space with the lease. So as long as I'm leasing, the land would be available to me. And this is what he provided, a picture of the land, and it just basically says, landlord is willing to make the space a part of your lease. And this is the land that he's talking about, the space that's right by auto parts.
So even if he sells that property, he'll still reserve that portion?
That particular portion.
As long as you're under the other lease agreement?
That is correct.
Okay. I know that was one of the questions we had.
Yes.
We noticed that, yeah, it had 1-day termination, and we thought, okay, well, what's the,
What happens
the
with that
backup
one
plan?
day, yes. So he has altered that, and that will be included in the updated lease.
I don't know if you could answer this question or not. This was the approved site plan. I'll come up here so everybody can see it. Give me a second.
Okay.
Catch up here. So this is the approved site plan for the vacant lot. The Advanced Auto Parts and Burger King are over here. So your area would be somewhere tucked in back there. Do you know, when you talked to the Widewaters property owner, did they say anything about this being developed, or is this just a placeholder? Do they intend to build this?
So, let me have the bearings again. This is where the shopping center is on this
Yeah,
side?
the big building is over here.
Mm-hmm. And this is the land, not auto work?
Correct.
Okay.
This is just a grass field right now.
Okay, very good. So, I don't have information about them planning to develop it. It was part of the discussion that if the land was sold, that they would allow me to use the land as long as it was available. If the land was sold, that we would have to make other negotiations. Once I came to the meeting, we made other negotiations that they will give me that particular space that is right by the Auto Works.
And I think it'll be this little area.
That
back
one
here.
small area that is already maintained on a regular basis. They will give me that area for the yard, but the rest of the area is just up for sale, and they haven't talked about the details of that.
Okay.
any comments or questions from Planning Commission?
The buses you talk about, that's Port Authority?
That's correct. In addition, just for some more information, if we have children, we are going to be given 6 parking spots if the parents need to park. So they won't have to go all the way to the back of the parking lot if it's busy. They will have 6 parking spots in front of the facility that are strictly for the daycare. That was agreed upon. And if we do have parents that want to park and come in, they will have those available. And of course, all of the rest of the parking lot available, but at least 6 of those. If we did have parents that were dropping off, just based on the average number of children per family and the percentage of families that actually take the bus, it is estimated that it would only be about 9 cars within the drop-off hours of 6 to 10 o'clock. So it would not be a big traffic jam or anything like that. And that's on an average of, 2.5 children per family, and about 30 of those kids would be taking the bus or walking.
Any other comments or questions before we open it up to public? Anybody from the audience that would have any comments or questions that they'd like to bring up this time? If you could sign in and state your name, please.
I signed in already. My name is Mona Robertson. I live at 4465 Broadway Boulevard. I lived in that area most of my life, except for 4 years. And I did speak to Mr. Stevenson about 3 weeks ago after the meeting because I didn't get a notification of the meeting because he told me that it was only 300 feet or yards from the property. So I told him that my concerns were mainly the safety of the children, the traffic flow, the number of trailer trucks. There are no crosswalks except for each end of the plaza down there. There's the fire lane, the entire length of the plaza. Also, no parking signs on majority of the posts in front of it. So I took some pictures and I wanted to show you guys. The place is very dirty in the back. There's multiple dumpsters, garbage. There's a delivery from Papa Rocks that comes through the back door where this black car is parked. The grass area that she spoke about behind the Dollar General, do I have it here? Oh, it's back here, but you have to cross from the corner of the Dollar General, which is over here, this picture, cross the, I guess that's where the main thoroughfare is for the trucks to go through. And the grass is over on this back end over here, so there's no sidewalk back here. But there is the few steps by the AutoZone that would have to, for the children to get there, to cross the main thoroughfare, you know, for the trucks and the cars. And then when I was there, I did see a trailer truck parked in the front. I did see UPS, another box truck, and these are just some of the signs for the no parking. And the only place that has like a designated yellow zone was in front of the new Shop and Save. So I did take some of those pictures also. So I am not in favor of this, and I hope the board isn't also. And that was my major concerns. There is a bar there right next to the facility. There's a liquor store. There's a beer distributor. There are a lot of intoxicated people going back and forth. There's outside seating from Papa Rocks. And I just don't feel that that's an environment where I would want to take my child for daycare. And that's it from me.
Thank you. Yeah, I had noticed the no parking signs that were there that said fire lane, and then right above it was the bus stop, so I thought that was a little oxymoronic, but
The bus stop is down at the Shop and Save. I've never seen buses stop, and I'm down there usually every day because I live right up the street 2 blocks. So that's the only, you know, drop off that I've ever seen down there. And I just want everybody to know that I did speak to Linda Gatus also, and I expressed my, you know, concerns to her too. Okay, thank you.
thank you. Hi, did you sign in?
I did sign
State your
in.
name, please.
It's Margaret Morales.
Okay.
I also live on Coffee Street, which is right behind the Sunoco gas station. I'm also not in favor of having this. My concern, again, are the children. I have enough, I've lived there for 20 years, and in the 20 years that I've been there, I've seen and experienced multiple car accidents, drunken disrespect, garbage, more fights than there needs to be. And if you have a daycare right next to the bar, that's unacceptable in my eyes when there's children involved. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Wilton, I'm not sure if we asked this last time. Is there any restrictions on our ordinances as far as proximity?
No, not to a liquor store or bar. The only restriction we have is 2,000 feet from another daycare center.
Good evening, Georgiana Woodhull. I wanted to correct something that I had said at the last meeting. I put out some information as far as the site plan for the Widewater Group on that vacant lot. And I said it was actually approved in March of 2006. It was actually tabled at that meeting, and it was approved the following month on April 19th at the Planning Commission meeting. So I'm going to submit that information just so you can correct the record. And then also, the article that was in the paper, Times Express, on April 26th in reference to that approval. One of the things that I wanted to bring to the attention, to your attention, is that intersection going as far back as 2006 was a failing intersection. I had asked Mr. Wilton if he could, let me know on a scale to A to F what exactly the rating was on the intersection. Were you able to find that, Paul?
It failing, I don't know. It wasn't good.
Okay, well, in the minutes, and this is in the March 15, 2006 minutes, it says, Matt Radinovic, the traffic consultant, reported the intersection at that time was currently failing. And I tried to get a list of the traffic count from Mr. Markosik's office for what it is today. And I couldn't get that information, but what I did get, I went back to our comprehensive plan here in Monroeville, and on page 52 of the comprehensive plan, the traffic counts from the Monroeville Comprehensive Plan on State Route 130, the average daily traffic is approximately 13,620 cars. And I can't tell you the figure as of today, but I can tell you what's been going on and the fact that there are serious safety issues. In the last year and a half, there have been 2 pedestrians hit in that intersection, busy intersection, where she will be taking those children across. The one happened to be a resident in our neighborhood. He was hit in the crosswalk. The other one was attempting to get into the crosswalk and was hit, and that was a hit and run. So there's things going on now. It's obvious people are attempting, and I see it all the time, trying to beat the light there. That area of the driveway that they would be going into, if you look at our comprehensive plan, going back to 2005, on a 10-year plan, and, I can submit a copy of that as well. They had a 10-year plan, and not one thing on that plan has been done in that intersection yet. And so it is long overdue, and because nothing's been done is why there's all these safety issues going on. And I think, that needs to be addressed. As far as the use of that vacant lot, I had mentioned to Mr. Wilton, because it almost appeared like the playground would have been right up near part of the building there. And I'm not sure how significant, that is. But they have come before council several times since 2006 and asked for an extension onto that site plan, and council has granted them that extension. So that kind of leads me to believe that there will be something built there hopefully someday. As to what position this woman's daycare would be in, I don't know. What I did want to do, though, because it was mentioned at the last meeting that there was no signage as far as stopping, being permitted to stop. So this is, I'm going to put this in last. Just about every pillar in the shopping center has one of these no parking fire lane signs, including in front of Papa Rocks, the entire stretch of the plaza. You can see on just about every pole, it's marked, and the fire lane is clearly marked.
Right.
In addition to that, when the Trafford Bridge closed, they moved the original bus stop sign from right by the Burger King onto Forbes Road, which resulted in a total mess there. When the bridge reopened, they never moved it back to by the Burger King. So for some reason, there is a bus stop by the Shop and Save, and there is a continuous flow of buses through there. And they are not always moving at a safe speed. So I think there's serious concerns here. Here's the bus stop. I don't know if you can see this picture here. And just happened to catch one of the buses dropping off right there. Why that is going through the plaza, and not on Route 130, I don't know who can actually address that issue.
Maybe PennDOT, I don't know.
Pardon me?
Or Port Authority, perhaps, I don't.
Yeah, it could be an agreement with the Port Authority and Wide Waters for convenience for the shopping center, instead of having, they could have their own private agreement.
Okay. Well, I wanted to make a suggestion, and that is, there's obviously safety issues there. I mean, there's just no doubt with what's been going on over the last year and a half. There are some actions that could probably be taken to stop some of it. First of all, the rerouting of the buses. The speed limit on Broadway Boulevard and Pitcairn is 25 miles an hour. The speed limit on the Trafford Bridge is 25 miles an hour. Why from Mosside Boulevard to the Trafford Bridge could that not be reduced? And to 25 miles an hour.
What is it currently?
40.
Oh, it is?
40. And I can tell you that the traffic, because there's such an increase in traffic, backs up around Haymaker Road all the way down to 48, and people are very impatient, as I said, running the lights, and it's not safe. That area where she wants them to cross, and I realize that she did a little traffic study of her own, but I would ask the municipality to do one of their own and to take a good look at this area. It is not safe for these children to be walking. That area where that back area is a blind spot. Those trailer trucks are through there all day long. So, I would ask that until these traffic concerns are taken care of and we get on a safer level here, that this would be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously the safety of the children is a major concern, probably all of ours, primary concern, and having to traverse them across parking lot or across traffic patterns and everything to get to that yard, it is a major issue. I know that the recreation areas are a requirement of our zoning ordinance, but Mr. Wilton, is there any other options for the applicant that could do away with that?
The applicant, because it's in the zoning ordinance, planning commission and council cannot waive that requirement. If you wanted to waive that requirement, you'd have to go to zoning hearing board for a variance. So that's a whole separate meeting. It'd probably take you 2 months by the time you did the application and had the meeting. But usually at the night of the meeting, you would find out whether or not it was approved or denied. So if the outdoor recreation area becomes too big of a hurdle, that could be another option.
Okay. If I may, just to get some clarification, there were some information was provided about accidents, and I'm trying to get a clear understanding. Were those accidents past the intersection? Because we're not going in the intersection.
I think they were at the intersection of Broadway and Forbes, not within the shopping center.
So that's a big difference. That's nowhere near where we're crossing. That's up the street. So we're not going to that intersection. We're not dealing with anything in the main streets. We're staying within the parking lot. And, yes, this was done by, a self-study, basically, but there weren't like an extreme number of semi-trucks going through there, so where we're crossing, that would be the area that the semi-trucks would go. And we're not gonna be out there walking all day long. It's only limited periods of time that we would go to the yard. And with one and the most semi-trucks that I counted for the days was 5 semi-trucks, I believe.
Were those numbers just to the front of the property, or did you also count?
Going
ones
to the
the rear as
back,
well? Okay,
yes.
so that was
Those
both.
were the semi-trucks that went to the back.
Okay.
That's correct. So, I mean, I appreciate everyone's concern for the safety of the kids. But I would like to just say that in our current facility that we have in Wilmerding, we do not have play space connected to it. And we have to walk through a parking lot across the street to the public parking, to the public park. And it's what the kids do all day long to get to that play area. It doesn't present an issue to be able to walk through a parking lot. Families, like I mentioned in the notes, families are taking their kids in and out of Papa Rocks and all of the stores at Haymaker. There doesn't seem to be a major safety issue, other than it's a parking lot, but it's not a parking lot that's extremely busy where there's traffic constantly going through. And any accidents that have resulted, I would like to see any information that they resulted in the parking lot, in the area where we would be crossing, because we would be on the sidewalk the majority of the time and crossing for a small period of time up steps that were put there for pedestrians to go up steps to get to the other area. And so just an idea of using what's available and making this an opportunity for a lot of parents that are looking forward to that space because of the need in that particular area.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're talking about bringing the children, you're in the back of the parking lot, you're not out on the highway. Would the owner of the property be willing to put like a crosswalk in there with ample signage? And the other thing I have a concern about is there steps that they have to go up. If you have children that aren't able to climb steps, handicapped children, I mean, then it looks like you're gonna have to go all the way around this island to do that, and it's gonna force you to take those kids down that throughway. Would they be willing to put a handicap ramp, I mean, something to accommodate children, I mean, or a buggy, like if you take, I know in some daycares, they take the kids to a play area, but they stick them all in buggies and push them. You wouldn't be able to push them up the steps. But would the owner be willing to give you ample signage? And as far as the parking issues in here, I believe the municipality, the police should enforce the no parking in those areas where they're parking, where they're not supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, so, very good. And I would say yes, I am confident that the landlord would be,
Would he be able to provide you with that?
yes,
So we could see
provide the
that?
signage. I can get some information on that, get that from him. I'm sure, because we have to put the signage up anyway, because we will be responsible for the kids. So the signage would go up. As far as the handicap ramp, there are steps that makes it very convenient, but if we had a child that had a disability, we would most likely have to leave from the back area, or we could go through the front area and just go down the side of the building before we get into the area where cars or trucks would come. Just right down the side of the building and up the grass, which actually there's a ramp over there as well. And so I can get information about signage. And as far as the parking, yes, there are signs up that says no parking, but it doesn't say no stopping. I don't know if that makes a difference. There are cars that are coming through that are stopping regularly there. That is not a necessity for our parents. We can always have our parents park and we can meet the kids and walk them in. But there are cars that are constantly idle for just drop off and pick up, not actually parking the vehicle and walking away from it.
I'm even curious, is there a possibility of them providing you designated spaces on the side of the building beside the Dollar General for parents to use, and that way they can just traverse right onto the sidewalk and down to their facility and then not having to cross any traffic?
I can ask, I will ask, that would be fine, but it is a longer walk when parents are dropping
Sure,
off
yeah.
kids
They're
to get to
rushing
work.
get to work.
It is a longer walk than having something that is right in front of the facility and about 10 steps away. And it's an area of the parking lot that people are using all day, every day, including kids. And it is not presenting a major issue where this isn't allowed right now. So, I mean, yes, I can ask, and I'm sure they will be accommodating, but for parents to have to park there instead of in front of the building, the convenience is really taken away from them when they're
Even
trying
if you
to
had
drop off.
2 designated spaces over there, or something is, you know, on the side, or you mean, you're talking about right here on the corner? Then they
Sure.
would just come right into the
And
front of
right
your
onto the
door
sidewalk and walk up, yes,
on the sidewalk.
yes.
I'm sorry, what's your name, Miss?
Lavette.
Lavette. I'm just curious, I think you have a facility right now, you said.
2.
Right, 2.
That's correct.
So this would be an improvement over your current space, is that?
It would be larger.
It'd be larger?
Yes.
Okay. But convenience-wise, as far as you said the playground situation in your current facility is?
For the Wilmerding location, we do not have space attached, so we walk
Same-
to the
same
public
thing.
space, yes. And we have not had any issues in the 3.5 years that we've been there. Pitcairn is a different area. We have space that is attached to that.
And I take it there's not a lot of other available space for you to look at in that vicinity?
No, I've
Yeah.
looked. I've looked.
Yes, I can imagine, okay.
Will this be a third business for you, or are you closing the other 2 and consolidating into one?
No, this would be an additional
So
site.
you have 3 total
Yes.
then?
Yes, this site, the idea is to have more space for school agers and to have more space for a pre-K counts program.
Were you talking about walking in front of or behind Advanced Auto Parts?
There are options for both. So in the front, there is a sidewalk, and we would prefer to use that. And in the back, if we had to have someone that maybe was in a wheelchair or anything like that, we may have to use that. Or we could use the front and then go down the side of the building to get to the grass area.
Have you talked to them about it?
To,
Advanced Auto, whether they care?
it is this property of Wide Waters. They've given us permission.
Okay.
But I have talked to them because I was out there measuring the space of how long it would take us to walk there.
Drew some attention.
Yes.
Mr. Wilton, do we have something written that states any differentiation between stopping and parking?
No parking and no stopping and no standing are different.
Okay.
Like in front of the Lowe's, there are signs where it's no stopping, no standing. Miracle Mile's the same way. You can be ticketed if you pull up along the curb and with your vehicle running, sitting inside there, you could still get a ticket. So if it's not posted, no stopping, no standing, I would think you could.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's why I wondered, like I said, about the bus stop sign that's right there as well. Is that why they're able to have those? Thank you. Any other comments from, come on, Becca.
Oh, I'm sorry, if I may, just another, I'm not sure when the rowdiness is taking place, but we're closed at 5:30. And being next to Papa Rocks, I know everyone, it's alcohol sale, but it's more of a family pizzeria where, kids are. So I don't see that presenting an issue. Lots of kids, families go to Papa Rocks all the time for various things, and I have 3 boys, and we spent a lot of time down there after baseball, baseball games. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make another comment. She said about the ramp behind the AutoZone. I believe, I have a picture of that in my pictures that I gave this young lady over here, but that is for the garbage truck to go up and for them to load and unload their supplies. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. That is not a ramp for people to go up. It's for trucks.
I think to the right of it, if I'm looking at this right,
Right here.
it looks like there's a There does look like there's a pull-in for trucks, but to the right of it, is that sidewalk on a ramp?
Right, it looks like a sidewalk there.
It looks like there's a space
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
separated.
Yeah,
It's a- The trucks go down, the
And that-
sidewalk goes up. It's
yeah.
like
And then there's
raised.
the pavement goes up
Goes up.
also towards the dumpster.
So it does look like there's a bit of a walking ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you look down here, you see these handicap spots, they have to have a ramp to get
Yes,
up
they
there
would have
straight
to be
here.
able to do that.
There's gotta be a ramp to get up there. I mean, you can't see it, but I'm assuming they're not gonna just leave a handicap spot there.
Right. Can't see it on that angle either.
I'm sorry, if I may just mention also, if this is an issue that with or without the ramp, we would have a ramp put in specifically for handicapped children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from public or planning commission members? Anybody? Anyone have any motions they'd like to offer?
The variance that needs to be applied, does that need to be,
That's
That would be through zoning.
that was, but
completely
we-
separate from this.
separate versus what we're doing, okay.
So essentially, if we would deny this application based on that, she could go to zoning, still get that variance, and then come back to us with a future application.
Correct, and if that's the route you would like to go, I would recommend tabling it instead of recommending
Right.
denial.
Sure.
Table it, go to zoning hearing board, get a variance, and then come back.
Any motion?
Sounds like the thing to do is table it and go for the variance and zoning.
So, is that a motion?
Motion for a table?
Yeah.
Maybe a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Sharon, roll call?
Mr. Pacusa?
Yes?
Ms. Krupdog?
Yes,
Ms. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is tabled, and, yeah, if you would like to consider that option to go before the zoning and see if you can get that variance, that would probably go a long way to moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is new business. We have one application, two different applications, 21-5-ST and 21-3-C. Mr. Wilden, if you'd like to read those in for us, please.
Applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct a new religious temple and then raise the existing temple and install associated site amenities. The project area is approximately 1.0 acres and located at 1451 Aber Creek Road, tax parcel 1108B173 in the R2 one-family residential and S Conservancy zoning districts. The conditional use application is, the applicant is requesting conditional use approval pursuant to section 401.8 of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended to permit a cut and fill operation totaling approximately 12,000 cubic yards of earth. The project area is approximately 1 acre and located at 1451 Abers Creek Road, tax parcel 1108B173 in the R2 one-family residential and S Conservancy zoning district.
All right, thank you. You can state your name for us, please.
Good evening. My name is Mike Wetzel. I'm with the firm Victor Wetzel Associates. I'm here representing Shardi Baba Temple, and what they would like to be able to do is to construct a new temple on their property that they currently own. We've known in the last couple of weeks we've had some engineering review comment letters that still need to be addressed and that our engineers are still working on. So for reference here tonight, we're here really more to give a presentation in regard to the plan. Hear comments from the Planning Commission. We recommend that we table ourselves or after our presentation so that we can have all the engineering comments items addressed, not only for the land development plan, but for the conditional use for the grading. That way we do it all at once. But once again, we thought it was very important to be able to be in front of you here tonight to introduce you to the plan and to hear any comments you have so we can continue to address comments. So before we talk about the overall site plan for the new temple, first off, I'd like to talk about the existing site. The site is just under 23 acres in size, once again located on Arbors Creek Road. That's located on the right-hand side of the site. We also have Northern Pike located along the upper portion of the site, and is located in 2 zoning districts, the S zoning, conservation zoning district, and the R2 zoning. The R2 zoning is the area located in yellow. So when we look a little bit more detail into the site, once again, the dashed magenta line is the zoning line. So everything north is the S zoning district line, and then down along the lower portion of the site is the R2, and all along the road frontage of Arbor Creek Road, where we have that located along this portion of the property. The site access occurs right along through here, works its way up to the existing temple of the site, and there is a priest's home just on the other portion of the site. The majority of the site is undeveloped and mostly wooded is within the area. So as you look at the existing temple that's there today, it's kind of a hodgepodge of miscellaneous materials. So we just come out and say that. That's one of the reasons why they would like to build a temple. So like I says, there's a bunch of additions that have occurred, tents, etc. So as you can see in the top slide, that's really the front and the existing parking lot that's there today. And once again, different kinds of materials, an outdoor little picnic area that's covered by a tent. This is the rear of the building, kind of a Quonset hut attached to the back. And as I said, one of the reasons why they would like to upgrade their existing temple facility. In regard to the proposed temple, this is the rendering that they're looking at in regard to the site. It's a 72 by 64 foot building associated with it. Materials are still being developed in regard to the exterior building materials. We'll be able to supply more additional information with our revised submission as well as our presentation. But really along the site area, we have the existing parking lot in the front, the main entry area in the front of the building with steps going up to the main entrance. The ADA access would occur more along this portion of the site with access down to the basement area where there is an elevator within the building. So that's how ADA access will occur. So when we do look at the elevations associated with that, the east elevation is really the front elevation that takes place with steps up, and off to the side is where the ADA access occurs and through here. This is the left front area along and through here. This is where ADA access will occur at this location of the site. This is the rear elevation of the building through here, and then this is the right front area. Regard to the site plan, we have 4 means of ingress and egress into the building, 2 from the lower basement area, and then also 2 from the upper area. So when we look at the detail of the existing site, once again, we have the access road that works its way up to the top of ridge area. This is the existing parking lot where there is spaces for 35 parking spaces, which meet the requirements of not only the existing, but for the proposed facility through here. And that's the existing structures that's there today. The proposed structure will be just off to the west, located in through here. And once again, we have the existing priest's home located at that portion of the site. So when we look at the proposed site plan within the area, what the temple would like to do is to build a new temple located right here in blue. The overall building square foot between the basement area and the main floor area is 9,200 square feet. The existing building right now is 7,200 square feet, so we're adding 2,000 square feet of overall site area to the plan. We have the existing parking lot and through here. The little bit darker gray areas where we're making alterations to the parking lot. Not all of it's dealing with just grading changes, but it's dealing with the removal of the existing building and because of utilities that are taking place. So we have the front of the structure located right along this portion with the steps. We have the 2 ADA parking spaces located right in through here with their access down to the basement where the elevator is located in this portion of the site. The site will be graded at this location. At a lower elevation, we'll have a cut slope that will occur in the back portion of the site and along the side portion of the site. Now, the way we're looking to we'll stage construction is they would like to build the new temple first so that they still have the existing temple to be able to visit and to attend. And once the new structure will be built, all the artifacts that are there today would be then moved over to the new building. That building would be raised in regard to its use, which is taking place here on the lawn flat area through the area. So with that, we'll be able to provide a lawn area just adjacent to the existing to the new structure. So when we look at the stormwater requirements for the site, what we have, once again, is the new temple building located here on the left. And we have the grading cut slope located in the back portion of the site. We'll have a high point along through here where water will be diverted in each direction. Water will come down this diversion channel to a head wall down into an inlet with then a storm line located in this portion. Where the existing temple is today will be the proposed underground detention tanks for the facility for stormwater management. Those, once again, tanks will be located underground and then be covered with earth to create the flat play area or lawn area associated with that. So we'll have all the water not only from the building and its downspouts going into the detention, but also the water through this section traversing across into the site, into the underground facility, parking lot through here into the facility, and then when it does leave, it's a controlled out along this section into the existing storm pipe that's through here. Full stormwater management plan and reports were submitted with our application. Some of those items are one of the things that are still being addressed through our engineering comments within the plan. So when we look at the landscaping, really the same slide you saw before. Once again, the lawn area will be providing some tree area along the back as a backdrop. Consider amount of foundation plantings along through here in trees. Some of the elevate or the perspective that we showed more shrubs, which we'll be adding more in relationship to the overall plan. And then all around the area will be grassed area. The rear slope area that's being constructed to construct the building will have more of a slope reforestation tree planting. We'll have 54 trees that'll be planted within these two hatch areas to kind of give it a little bit more of a reforestation look to that area, as well as the necessary E&S seeding that's required for the slope. So as part of that was discussed, one of the items is the conditional use in regard to the grading. That's the second item on the agenda, is that because of the district that we're in, anything over 10,000 square feet of grading needs to have the conditional use. Our proposed site plan proposes 12,000 cubic yards of grading, so we're 2,000 over, so that'll be part of a separate approval, and that's where we have our grading that takes place. The overall disturbance of the site is under an acre, so it's a very small area of disturbance that takes place. And then lastly, we do have a modification that we're asking for in relationship to the land development plan, and that's the requirement of sidewalks. As you might have been through this area, off to the left here is the aerial. The solid black line is the Arbors Creek Road through this section. Right through here is our access up to the temple site. And we have about, several thousand lineal feet over 1,000 lineal feet of frontage along Arbors Creek. Currently, there are no sidewalks. And then as we've kind of shown with our exhibits that we did submit with our application, it's very difficult to add a sidewalk along the slope areas on either side. So as you can see through the photo, very steep, in some cases greater than 2-to-1 slopes along the road frontage. So we'll be asking for that modification for no sidewalk along that frontage of the roadway area. So with that said, as I said, we're here tonight to give more of a presentation in regard to our plan. We know we have engineering comments that need to be addressed. We're working on those. We hope to have those in within the next week back into the borough and or the municipality, and so that can be reviewed as we have a full full presentation or a recommendation that we would like to have from the planning commission in August. Glad to answer any questions that the board might have in relationship to the plan we're presenting here tonight.
Thank you. Questions?
I'll get us started.
Sure.
I have one, just on the stormwater. If you go back to your stormwater slide. Can you find it, or?
Yep, that's it right there.
Waiting for them to pick it. Okay. Normally, during construction, there would be like a pond, a sediment pond, where it would catch all the mud coming off during construction. But if you're gonna maintain the existing building and completely build the new building, and then put in your stormwater tanks after you raise that building, what happens to all the stormwater during construction? You're gonna have
Correct.
a whole new building with new roof lines, but you're not gonna have a place to put that yet.
Correct, and I believe our stormwater management reports are looking to address those comments, because that is one of the comments that are out there, and we'll be glad to try to, I don't have the answer for you here tonight, which is one reason why we're asking it to be tabled, just so that make sure that our stormwater management report addresses that. So,
Good enough.
Paul, the sidewalk issue, is that something that would be a zoning board variance as well, or is that the decision that?
Our sidewalk ordinance is a separate standalone ordinance currently, so it does not have to go to zoning hearing board. Council will make that decision.
Okay, so we don't really have to make that decision for us.
Okay.
And I would say that you do have a hardship there along.
yes, correct. Yes,
Barely fits two
the
cars
photos
out there.
don't give it enough justice.
So your new temple is going to be here,
Yes, it is, yes, where your finger is.
then tear down the old one and build a storm drain, and then cover it with a field, a grass field.
Correct, yes.
That's,
In a nutshell, that's what it is.
Any other comments or questions? Or? Okay. And you said you are requesting to have it tabled?
Yes, we are.
Anyone like to accept that motion?
Accept it.
Paul? Second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion is,
Voice your,
Motion,
voice your motion.
yeah,
Sorry?
I think you want to make a motion to
voice
table
oh,
as the applicant
I got
requested.
you.
So just
all right.
formally
So we will-
table it.
We will seek a motion to formally table per the applicant's request.
Second it.
Second.
You got it? All in favor?
Yeah?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion tables.
And that would probably occur for the second item on the agenda for us for the conditional use for the
Yeah,
grading.
that would be
temple.
both items.
Yeah,
Yes,
that'd be for both.
just to clarify.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you again for your time this evening.
Thank you.
And our last item, 21-6-ST Rashid Hassan Tennis Center LLC. Is our understanding that the applicant has also requested tabling?
The applicant contacted me at 4 o'clock this afternoon and submitted written request to table the project.
Okay, so that said, do we have a motion to table?
I'll give the motion table.
Second.
Paula? Kim, second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion table carries. Any other items from anybody? I would just like to welcome Mr. Walker to the planning commission and look forward to working with you on this, so. I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed?
We're good.
Adjourned.